Genau, das Finale der DRM oder des DRM Cup haben wir ja am letzten DTM-Wochenende auf dem Hockenheimring erleben dürfen. Jetzt also nochmal DTM, das heißt Rennfahrzeuge vom Beginn an der DTM-Geschichte, also 1984 hat das Ganze gestartet und bis hin zu 2008, glaube ich, ist das jüngste aus.
2007, aber es gibt auch die Möglichkeit, dass hier noch wieder spätere Autos starten, so wie heute mit dem Podium, der mit einem 2008er Mercedes startet. Und uns viel Freude.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the final race of the DTM Classic season, the DTM Classic Cup here at the Hockenheimring. Olaf Mantai has been crowned your champion. He is so happy with that. He's changed cars for today, so that's going to be fun. So he will be racing in what has been described as a Batmobile, the all-black Audi Quattro. So yes, Olaf Mantai will be getting that car sideways because that is his favourite thing to do. Hopefully I find you well. My name is Luke Crane, and we will indeed be with you on this journey to the end. We finished our DRM Cup last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Now it's time for the DTM Classic Cup. And while we've got some absolutely wonderful cars for you on show today, they have yet to get to the grid here, so we're going to have a little bit of a delay to maybe what the time you thought we might have the race. But we've had the two podiums for DTM and DTM Trophy, and well, if there's ever going to be a delay, it's when drivers like to celebrate, and we will not like to rush people celebrating championships that they've worked so hard for all year. Hopefully everybody is well around the world. Let me know where you're watching from around the world, actually. That would be quite cool to know where you are indeed watching. Hello, everybody there on YouTube. There is the A4 STW Audi. And not moving, which is not ideal. But I'm sure they will get going. Then they can all head around and do their lap towards the grid. And then it indeed will be time for some racing action. The end of the season already. You blink and you miss it. I can assure you, at the start of the season, it felt like it was going to be so long in the running when Hockenheim came round, but it felt like merely weeks, not months. What an incredible season. Had some real highlights. One being the Lausitz Ring, with Mark Hessel making some incredible moves at the end to win a race, and thus being dubbed the Cookie Monster. And actually today I was presented with a branded hoodie from their team with the commentary words and my name printed on it. It was really, really cool. All their team had one as well. So I'll put that up on Instagram so you guys can see that. And that was a really nice touch, actually. So yeah, it was really cool. And this championship really has captured everybody's imagination. And the fact that we've just grown so massively over the course of this season, you know, broadcasting it on many more platforms as well, trying to let people understand that, especially within DTM, that people want to see this stuff. And yeah, you've come in your droves, you supported this from beginning to end. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to be involved with. But I can assure you right now, there's a lot more people watching at this point of the season than there was at the start. We have grown perfectly. There are still so many people in the crowd here as well, live. It's a gloriously sunshiny day as we now await the cars to appear on our grid. So where else? Oh, Swindon. Oh, that's close to where I'm from. We've got someone from Jakarta in Indonesia. DTM is done. Yeah, it's finished. Italy as well. Where else are we watching from then? Oh, Brazil as well. João Luiz de Almeida Nunes. That's a long name. From Brazil. Nice to see you all tuning in. We all love old school DTM for sure. But don't say old school. You can't say that out loud. So in front of these drivers, it's just DTM, new school. We don't want to bring age into it. Florian from Amsterdam. Good to see you. Shaba from Hungary. Netherlands for Harko. Lithuania. Georgia. Wow. From all over the globe. A few tyre changes here by the looks of things for Bruno Spengler. maybe a fresh set of boots here to really give the fans something to shout about. Leopold Prince von Bayern. Absolute legend on the grid. Had the absolute pleasure of sitting down and having dinner next to Leopold von Bayern. And yeah, he's everything you would expect and more. An absolute character, a lovely guy. Has some stories, I can assure you of that. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure. So the formation lap is going to begin in about 5 minutes. So we've got about 5 minutes. They're going to make sure that these cars are all in good nick. But I will indeed be able to run through the grid for you very shortly. Rudolf Schulhorn, though, is the driver that won yesterday and starts right at the front of this race as well. So starting at the front of the full grid and indeed also starting at the front of the Class 1s, of course, as well. Bernardo watching from Portugal in Vila Real. Guido loves the Calibra. We all love the Calibra, that's for sure. There is Keke Rosberg's Calibra. And there's the boss, Martin Tomczyk, former DTM champion. There's Chris Nissen, who's had a very, very busy weekend this weekend. He had a nice talk yesterday in the fan zone. There was hundreds of people listening to him talking about his Audi TT from the year 2000 in DTM when he raced. And the car was there as well. It's a really nice spectacle. There's Bruno Spengler. Can he get a second win of the season? It's going to be difficult to beat Schulhorn and Scheer. He'll be hoping that they potentially have a failure of some sort. But yeah, Bruno Spengler is definitely a fan favourite. Got to see him run at the Norris Ring and actually win a race at the Norris Ring. But he was mobbed from start to finish of the weekend. Olaf Mantai, who is the champion of the series in a different car this time round. He's like, do you know what? I've already won the championship in one car. How about we just try the Audi this time round? The angriest Audi in the world. And there is Moritz Horn, the youngest driver on the grid in the Alpina M3 E30 Group A DTM. And as you can see on the side of the car, Peter Oberndorfer, the name on the side. He's the boss of the championship. He indeed raced in this car in its heyday in DTM. Also a nice touch that they've got my name on the lights at the front of the car as well. Stefan Mucker running in the Ford Sierra RS 500. Swapping cars today with Ronnie Scheer. Ronnie Scheer running in the Calibra, whereas Stefan Mucker, of course, prior to this, raced in DTM. But yeah, they've had a nice little swap. Dirk Richter, yes, it is a monster. That is exactly how I would sum up the Audi. It is an absolute monstrosity. So we've got a new Sierra on the grid, replacing the old Sierra on the grid. Ironically, both are old Sierras. Michael Schneider, a little bit further down the grid, in 10th position. And for me, this is the era, the Super Tourers, this is the era that got me into motorsport. The Audi A4 STW for Reich. Here is the number 111, Nico Whitman, who is indeed brother of Marco Whitman, who won today. The crowd went absolutely bananas when the Scheffler BMW crossed the line. Maybe there's the potential here for Whitman to pick up a class victory. He's in Class 3, and he's the leader of the Class 3s. And actually, he's the only Class 3. So if he finishes the race, he will get that victory. And this is the championship winning car. Jürgen Adi Schumann driving it today. But Olaf Mantai is indeed the champion. But he's decided to just change it up today and run around in the Audi Quattro. I love that Alex on the fly. This right here is definitely the world's fastest museum for sure. René Rook, who had some issues in qualifying earlier on today, is still out there. Every time I go speak to him, I'm like, is everything good? He's like, yeah, cool, all good. The most reliable car on the grid. Albrecht Comenzin in that BMW 325. Starting down in P14. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Zimmerman starts P13 in the number 88. The best racing number in the world. That is a fact. I will have no one argue with that. There it is, the number 88. Then we've got Gerhard Fuller, who had a very indifferent session in qualifying earlier on. But we won't mention that. I saw them emptying the front bumper of the gravel, and it was almost like he lived at a veterinary surgery where they only dealt with cats. It was just kitty litter everywhere. Anyway, now time for some formation lap action before we have 25 minutes plus 1 lap to see how things go down. Class 1, Class 2, there's a Class 3, 4, 5 and 6 here. So not only are drivers battling for the overall victory, but they're looking to get a class victory as well. Podiums for all as well. Olaf Manthey already champion, but now everybody else racing for pride. You can see there that Moritz Horn's boot is up on the BMW, maybe just releasing some last-minute shopping, just to take some weight out of the car. But hopefully there's nothing too wrong with the car. Again, one of the more reliable machines on the grid these days. Wasn't necessarily in the first season I was commentating on the series, but this season has been pretty top-notch. As we get a lovely shot there of the wing mirrors. Very small wing mirrors. But I guess as a racing driver, you don't really need to be worried about what's behind you. You've got to try and go forwards. So here we go then. Schulhorn lighting up the rears as he heads down in towards turn number 1. With Ronnie Shear just in behind in the Opel Calibra. Chris Nissen, Bruno Spengler just in behind in the second row of the grid. Olaf Manthey and Moritz Horn on the 3rd row. But I'm sure we will get the official classification of all of that. René Rook there making an appearance, as the STWA4 is just waiting for every car to go by, and then hopefully we'll be able to join at the back, although it might be a start from the pit lane. So that remains to be seen. Pit lane is closed officially right now. Once everyone goes past, will they be allowed to go? I'm not sure they will be, to be fair. I think it will be a case that they have to start from the pit lane once the cars have gone past at the start of this race. So here is your official starting grid. Rudolf Schulhorn and Ronnie Shear, P1, P2. Chris Nissen and Bruno Spengler are on the 2nd row. Olaf Manthey and indeed Moritz Horn are 5th and 6th. Stefan Mucker and Marcus Reich are indeed 7th and 8th position. We've then got Nico Whitman and Schneider as your top 10. René Rook, Jürgen Adi Schumann are in 11th and 12th position. Peter Zimmermann and Albrecht Kamenzin are indeed on your 7th row. Gerhard Fuller and Matthaus Rass are 15th and 16th. Guido Mom and Anton Werner are 17th and 18th. Torsten Horn and indeed Schneider and the BMW 325i E30 start as your 20 drivers. On the formation lap then, just trying to get some heat into the tyres. There'll be other drivers that are trying not to get heat into their tyres because they're on old ones. But it's all about just making it to the end. It's a spectacle for the fans. It's a spectacle for you, all of you watching at home. And it's a spectacle for me, to be honest. I'm just a big nerd for this. As they all now go 2 by 2, heading into the final few corners. Being led by Prince Leopold von Bayern. Then he will pull away into the pits, and it will be race time. 2 Class 1 cars at the front. How long can Ronnie Shear hang with Schulhorn? It remains to be seen. Can Bruno Spengler spring a surprise? Starting alongside Chris Nissen. Chris Nissen, with over 100 professional race wins, does not take things lightly in this championship. I can assure you of that right now. There's no such thing as a freebie for anyone else racing alongside him. Around the final corner, they do indeed come. They're going to be waiting for those green lights to appear. And for the final time this season, we've got a DTM Classic Cup race. Green lights coming out. All about reaction times here. We are green light racing. And Schulhorn gets them away. And so does Ronnie Shear. Chris Nissen just up ahead of Bruno Spengler. Olaf Manthey trying to make a move up the inside towards turn number 1. We've got round the outside then Stefan Mucker. So Mucker does get the move done. Manthey then loses out ever so slightly. The Alpina maybe making a move for what would be P6. There is the Super Tourer Audi coming out the pits then, and now starting there traverse down in towards turn number 2. But it's a great start from Schulhorn, the Mercedes DTM C-Class 2008 car, like yesterday, streaking off up there. Ooh, nearly 3 wide, actually. Anton Werner in the Audi. Watch this burn some rubber. Down the back straight, we will come down towards the hairpin. Gerhard Fuller trying to follow him through. But that orange Audi, absolutely lightning in a straight line. Did not qualify this morning, and well, we'll make it through towards the top 3, maybe top 5 actually, sooner rather than later. Sends one up the inside of about 7 different cars, and Werner will come out ahead of all of them. Although it looks like the Ford Sierra, no, struggling to get that power down actually. Anton Werner already up to P6 here by the looks of things, starting from the back of the grid. So pretty incredible stuff. Schulhorn still leading the way. Ronnie Shear in second, then Stefan Mucker in third. Bruno Spengler is in fourth. We see Rene Rook here battling with Gerhard Fuller. Fuller slips one around the outside, gets the car across the bonnet of Rook, and then makes that move stick at the end. Moritz Horn here losing a couple of spots, battling side by side then with the Ford Sierra. As we come out the exit down in towards the stadium section here, the Sierra should be able to get across the Alpina and indeed hold on to that position. So a very frantic start from our classic drivers, and again, this is something that's new this season. They've always been pretty respectful for each other, and they've not really fought. But this season we've had race upon race where there's side-by-side action all over the show. And as you can see here, Gerhard Fuller, oh, there's a slow car there. So that is a slow BMW, and I'm not too sure exactly who that is. But there's a very, very slow BMW as we head into the pits then for them. And again, as soon as I find out who it is, I will absolutely let you know. And here is a replay then of the start. Of course, you're expecting Schulhorn and indeed Ronnie Shear to make a great start. Look at Anton Werner in that orange Audi, switching across straight away. Gerhard Fuller, who also didn't put a quick lap time in qualifying, a little bit out of position, trying to go up through the pack as well. But it's Olaf Manthey. It's Chris Nissen. Oh, it's gut-wrenching for Chris Nissen. So that's the car that's into the pits. But look at Olaf Manthey. Really tight entrance into turn 1, so we'll be sluggish on the exit. And just get squeezed there by Stefan Mucker. And just fantastic from everybody. Everyone's still facing in the right direction, which is, well, in all fairness, an absolute treat. Bruno Spengler, by the way, off to the loudest ring there. Off really wide. But it's to be expected at the race start here. Trying to find a little bit of room, trying to jostle for some position. But yeah, I would say a very good start from all of these drivers concerned. Chris Nissen in the pits, shaking his head. And the door is open on the driver's side, which is never a good sign. The wheel pops off, and that is a day done. Weekend done for Chris Nissen. And again, a huge shout out to Chris. It's been an absolute pleasure to have around the paddock. Really, really top lad. Really, really top driver as well. And I'm sure we'll see him next season as well. So there is Gerhard Fuller, who is ahead now. Moritz Horn's actually moved ahead here as well. So Moritz Horn's ahead of Schneider. And then Whitman is in P10. So Whitman has moved up into a top 10. So we head a little bit further back here. And you've got Comenzin, you've got Schneider, you've got Zimmerman, you've got Reich as well. Reich's making his way back through with the Audi Super Tourer. I think the most interesting thing here is probably Stefan Mucker and Bruno Spengler, of course, would have raced against each other, have raced against each other, and well, they're currently battling for a podium position here. Spengler not quite having the pace to put the pressure on as of yet, but we know that Spengler gets faster as the races go on. We're on board here though with Reich, the number 40, currently P16, looking for a move here. Actually, already up to P14, so this will be a move for P13. On Albrecht Comenzin. Gets the job done before they head in towards turn number 1. Then opens up turn number 1. Lovely old job. Position made. So the only driver out of this race so far is indeed Chris Nissen. Schulhorn has got the fastest lap of today's race, as you would expect. 20 minutes left on the clock, but yeah, already absolutely streaking out a lead here. And again, it's all about reliability for the Class 1s especially, and actually goes for all classes really, but especially the Class 1s. So you see Ronnie Shear on the side and Stefan Mucker have both been sharing this car this weekend. The Calibra is Ronnie Shear just up in front, by the way. Anton Werner now, by the way. Look at this, absolutely flying with the Audi. Sends one up the inside of Bruno Spengler. How far can Anton Werner go? How far can Anton Werner go? Had an incredible day yesterday, but has some serious pace in that Audi 200. I think you'll find that there's a genuine chance at a podium here, maybe even a P2. Could he potentially catch up to third and indeed maybe second? Driving the absolute wheels off. That is incredible. Although Bruno Spengler seems to have been given a wake-up call there, because he very much closed in through the corners, but the straight line speed of the Audi, that was always its strength in its heyday. Just providing another reason as to why it is so strong. And again, giving the chance for the car to stretch its legs down towards the hairpin, but again, another chance to maybe close that gap. Anton Werner goes as fast as he wants, absolutely. Absolutely he does, Alex on the fly. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. The only limit is him. So we're watching then Stefan Mucker, who gets the steering all crossed up. And again, the Sierra is an absolute monster of a car. It's very quick. Put a corner in front of it though, and it's a bit like, oh, nah, maybe not. As we're looking here at Guido Mom, racing in the Ford Mustang. The car's plagued with issues, and fair play to them. They've been out every single session this weekend, and they said they are just going to be pedestrian, just go around a circuit. They want to show the fans the car. So again, a massive, massive shout out to the BWT Mucker Motorsport team. And Guido Mom knows he's not going to be competitive this weekend, but still brings the car out because it is probably one of the most unique cars DTM has ever had. So it's yeah, fantastic to see that car on show. Flames coming out the car, yes please. Oh, if you've been watching this for a while, guys, you know there's two things I like: flames and liveries. Bright liveries and flames. Well, there is the Calibra with a lovely Old Spice livery on it. The best of both worlds. I'm loving some of the jokes here about the Audi here. The Audi is the kind of car that flashes you on the Autobahn while overtaking you. Fair enough, Florian. That's a good one there. Is there any more jokes? Yeah, whilst also carrying a family. Yeah, that's what the Audi is capable of. So here is the Calibra, Keke Rosberg's Calibra. And now we head on to Schulhorn in the GQ liveried Mercedes C-Class from 2008. This actually was Mauro Engel's car. As we see a lock-up there, trying to get in and amongst the back markers. There was a huge old lock-up, but yeah, this is the car. Actually finished P16 overall in the 2008 DTM Championship. Of course, Mauro Engel racing for Group M this season in the DTM, current DTM driver. But it would appear, oh, everyone trying to squeeze here. That's the wrong car to squeeze. When you're one of the slowest, the fastest car on the track is not the car to squeeze, ladies and gentlemen. I can assure you of that. So Ras has been dealt with then. Torsten Horn's been dealt with. The next car then for Schulhorn will be Guido Mom. And as we say it, we wish it into existence. It's happening right now. So two DTM Classics, both original cars as well, side by side in 2022. Drink it in, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, that is a sight to behold. And as quick as it was in our lives, it's now disappeared because Schulhorn is up the road in towards turn 2, and off they go. Oh, there's some proper descriptions of these cars coming into YouTube chat right now. The Sierra spits so much fire, the ancient Chinese call it a dragon. Fair enough, the dragon car. All these cars love to spit flames. So running then all the way down into the hairpin. And now we're getting to see a replay, and as I always say, it's either cool or there's a mistake, and this time it's a mistake. But equally, still looks cool. Bit of rally crossing, why not? Rene Rook, bored of driving on the track, so wants to give a show to people watching around the outside of that corner. Holds on to it nicely though, all good. As we see more flames popping out of the car. Stefan Mucker giving us a show. More flames? Sure. There we go. Oh, bit of a backfire as well. Why not? More flames? There you go. Lovely. Oh, now we're going to see some more fire here. Olaf Manthey. Oh, Anna just loves it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And Olaf knows exactly what that car's doing. To all of us fans at home. Incredible stuff. So Manthey currently in P7. Our overall champion this season as well. Ooh. Yeah, our overall champion here. But he did not run in this car. He actually ran in the number 6, the BMW 635 CSI. Yeah, that's the car he won the championship with, but today he's gone for something a little bit different. He loves to get a car sideways, and well, the perfect opportunity to do so with this Audi. The meanest car looking on the grid for sure. And again, you're loving the sense of humor in the YouTube chat right now. How big do you want the flames? Yes. Yeah, that's the perfect answer right now. Does anyone have any marshmallows as well? That's another good one. And that's what this championship's all about. Of course, it's serious. They want to win the championship. They want to win their classes as well. But it is an exhibition. It is for the fans to see, you know, where DTM has come from, you know, where German motorsport has come from, the history to get us to the point that we're in right now. So it's all good, having a bit of fun. That really does just showcase the nature of what this is all about. Because I can tell you right now, all these teams are talking to each other, having beers on the weekend together. Like, it's a very, very light-hearted atmosphere. But once they hit the racetrack, yeah, well, that's a little bit of a different story. They are there to race, that's for sure. So Olaf Manthey giving us a show. Gerhard Fuller's just up in front. Smoke coming out once again. And that's the worrying thing for me. Is every time I see these cars smoking, you're either worried that that's their race over or their weekend over, or something cool's happened. It could be either. It really can be either with these. But thankfully, with the Audis, it just tends to be coolness happening again. Again, Manthey just having to dab the brakes there through the left-hander. Just noticed that the last time round as well. Maybe a lack of grip. Track's a bit baked as well, so it's the hottest that it has been all day long. And they had the Porsche Cup yesterday here as well, so the track is very much rubbing in, and maybe a little bit too much. Some of the drivers in this championship are like, there's too much rubber on the track because of the Porsche Carrera Cup. So it makes it a little bit slippery. But with 12 minutes left to go in this race, we're on board here with Torsten Horn, currently running down in P18. For the Class 5s, a top 5 in the Class 5s as well. As we hear the scream then of Schulhorn dragging that car down the straight. Leading the race by 43.5 seconds, still getting the car sideways out of the corners. That's the level of commitment we all want to see coming into that final sector. A few cars to indeed negotiate in terms of lap traffic. But it's looking pretty good then for Schulhorn to take a double race victory this weekend. And maybe we'll see more of a full-time entrant next season. That'd be pretty cool. So coming up then to that Ford Sierra. Schneider at the wheel to number 67. Should be easy pickings. There we go. As quickly as we ventured up to the back of the Sierra is now behind. And then you've got Rene Rook, I think is the next driver to indeed deal with. There you go. All good. All done. That's not Rene Rook at all. Nico Whitman. So that was actually Whitman being dealt with there. P9. So lapped up to P9 now for Schulhorn. As we head down in towards the hairpin. And the reliability of this car, and again, I don't even know why I opened my mouth actually. I should probably stop there, but I've now started. So I will finish. The reliability of this car has actually been quite a standout. Normally with the sort of spaceship cars that I like to call them from the 2000s, they tend to be very, very tough to keep reliable. Seem to always struggle in that sense. But this one's done pretty well. Anton Werner, by the way, up to P4. Off to chase down Stefan Mucker. Needs to find 12 seconds though, so I think you'll find that Mucker actually is extending that lead. As we're on board then with Zimmerman. Zimmerman on the side of the car as well as the sponsor, plus the driver name. And this is an actual battle for what would be P18. So Ras just up ahead. Oh no, should I say? Yeah, this is Comenzin. So Guido Mom's dropped behind here. Ras has dropped behind. And so has Torsten Horn. So this is actually a battle for P14. Or P15, should I say. Comenzin currently in that 15th spot. They're now being caught here by Anton Werner, who's just on an absolute charge. There's Guido Mom in the Mustang. Flames coming out. And there's Bruno Spengler in the STW BMW, trying to keep pace here with Anton Werner. But Werner is absolutely checking out here. Off we go. No time for messing around there for Anton Werner. Anton Werner has put on a hell of a show today. Driver of the day for sure. Yesterday looked quick. Today looked even faster. And maybe Anton Werner should never do qualifying again, if this is the kind of performances we're bound to see. The gap now down to 10 seconds, by the way. So Anton Werner is now only 12 seconds behind. It's just gone out ever so slightly. Had to deal with some traffic there. I think Werner is going to catch up, or not catch up in terms of be right behind, but we'll close that gap. It's just all about whether Anton Werner can then translate that into a potential move. We're pretty excited to see how this goes down. There's Bruno Spengler again, a fan favourite. As Werner struggles to go through the corners. On the straights, we'll just drive away. Well, Olof Mantai, off the circuit we will go. Oh, no. No. Luckily, already championship sewn up as we see Flames and an overtake all in one shot. Only in the DTM Classics where you see Flames and an overtake, plus some tyre flexing. Ticking every single box of motorsport here. It's like a game of bingo and I just won. Lovely slow-mo shots here. And I must say, I do like Sunday. Sunday seems to be the slow-mo day. You really get to see the cars up close. And there is Mantai. And do you know what? I think he's decided, I've won the championship. I want to go and drink that celebratory champagne and beer a little bit earlier. And how can you argue with that? So let's not worry about the car. The car's not broken down here. I think he's found the bar. And he's gone to celebrate his championship win just a little bit earlier. And there you go. The Marshal's actually bringing a beer over. The Marshal's brought a beer over to him as well. Massive respect. Yeah, put some pork on the engine. Have a nice sandwich or a burger. What a way to celebrate. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with the car, guys. It's just celebrating early. Nothing but respect. On board here then with Stefan Mucker looking to get a podium. The gap now out to about 15 seconds. So Anton Werner is not catching up. So Stefan Mucker doing enough for that podium as it stands. Zimmerman and Comenzin still battling for position. This is for the Class 5 podium, by the way. Their third and fourth position. Can Zimmerman keep hold of it from Comenzin? So there is a trophy on the line here. And this is going to go down to the wire. 6 minutes remain of this race. The number 88 versus the number 75. And can Zimmerman hang on here and pick up a bit of silverware? Runs a little bit wide. Just about keeps it in check. We're about to see flames. Oh, I was about to say we're about to see flames or something bad. And it's something bad. Unfortunately, Guido Mom is going to pull off to one side. And that will be race day over. But again, I want to say a massive thank you to the BWT Mucker Motorsport team, who brought the car knowing that it was not going to be quick this weekend and did it to showcase the car to the fans. And again, we do say thank you for that, because it's always good to see the Mustang racing. As you saw there, Comenzin, I don't know, trying to maybe get into the head of Zimmerman. Zimmerman, though, not falling for it. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to hang on as Schulhorn does indeed go past once again to lap them on his way to a victory. Ronnie Shear, by the way, and Stefan Mucker might be closing up here. There's only 3 seconds between the two of them. So hold your horses. There might still be a battle for P2 in this race. I wonder if Stefan Mucker may have just found some pace here. As Comenzin does try and send one up the inside. Gerhard Fuller's coming through to lap everybody as well. He's got to try and find a gap. They do open up a gap for him. And the Vectra slices and dices all the way through. Through the kink there will come. Zimmerman just about still holding on to that podium spot, but it is not by a lot. It's by the skin of his teeth. So will Kemenzin be able to find something here at the death? So I've just watched outside my commentary box. Yeah, the P2 and P3 are closing up to each other. Again, the gap is just over 3 seconds. So hopefully Shearer isn't having issues with the Calibra. So again, can Kemenzin find himself an opportunity to close up here and grab that final podium spot? Break the hearts of Zimmerman as Moritz Horn is off the circuit now. And that is another DNF. Moritz Horn, the only Class 4 driver. There is going to be no Class 4 trophies, because that is a DNF. So Moritz Horn is the latest driver to subsequently be out. And that's probably my fault for mentioning it's been the most reliable car on the grid this season. Me and my mouth, unbelievable. Trying to check there to see what the issues are. I'm not sure how much you're going to see with the helmet on, but here we are. Whitman, by the way, now into P. It will be a P7. Yes, a Horn drops down. So Whitman keeping the Whitman name there in the points scored throughout this weekend. 2 points finishes for this car and 2 points finishes, 2 podiums for the BMW driver brother Marco Whitman. It's been a good weekend. The beer will taste very sweet this weekend in that family, that's for sure. As we see the number 32 there, Ras in P17, catching up to Horn. So they're battling for what would be P5 overall in the Class 5s, and they've been so close all weekend. The nose to tail throughout this weekend. It's been fantastic to see. So looking at the front 3 again, the gap between second and third is around about 3.9 seconds. So the gap really isn't coming down, actually. So it would take a monumental effort here from Stefan Mucker to potentially make a move. As again, we are going to watch Zimmerman versus Kemenzin. This is for a podium in the Class 5s, as they all move up a position on Moritz Horn. So they all move up a position overall in this race. But now, it's all about those individual honours. Kemenzin there. Again, just getting into the mirrors of Zimmerman. Trying to force a mistake there from Zimmerman, and he's just got to hold on. 2 laps remain for me. Maybe 3, actually. Could be 3. In the number 88. And now it's all about hanging on. As you can see, donuts there on the circuit. That was from the DTM drivers earlier on. Celebrating and giving the fans something to shout about there on the final corner stand. Again, still so many people around watching these races. Fantastic to see as there's finally an opportunity for Kemenzin. The car a little bit quicker in a straight line, we feel. As we head then down towards turn number 2, is there the opportunity for an overtake? We'll go late on the brakes here for sure. Down in towards the apex. Zimmerman closes the door, but we'll have a better line on the exit, and normal service is resumed. These two absolutely fighting for this final podium position. And are we going to see a potential overtake before the end of this one? A couple of laps remain here, ladies and gentlemen, of the DTM Classic Cup 2022. And what a spectacle it's been. As Kemenzin does send one then in towards the hairpin. Zimmerman's going to have to leave that door open. Flames are coming out of the car. And it's now a drag race then up towards the kink before they head into the stadium area here. And well, who's going to come out on top here? I think Zimmerman's just about ahead, but the inside line belongs to Kemenzin. Is there going to be an overlap on the exit? Oh, roll back the ears, lads. This is great stuff from both of them. Zimmerman sends one under braking then. Nobody is home. Kemenzin reads it like it's the Bible. It's beautiful there from Kemenzin. He holds on to the position, and the podium spot then has been reversed. Has Zimmerman got anything else, though, to do with this? Can he potentially, indeed, take one more play out of the playbook here? Kemenzin now streaking away. It looks like he might be able to take a trophy home with him from the Hockenheimring. Lovely exchange between the two of them. And well, Zimmerman tried, but unfortunately just ran out of room in terms of the braking zone. Kemenzin, well, it was a brilliant bit of driving from him. as we will have at least one more lap for them, potentially two in all fairness actually. There might be the potential for two more because the lead car, yeah, the lead car will come around the track for the last lap very, very shortly. As you see here, Stefan Mucker just finding gaps to manoeuvre. Through the hairpinned left-hander, using the camber of the inside of the corners. There's Schulhorn. The clock now has indeed hit 0. Lapping Anton Werner. Bruno Spengler back here for a battle as well. So Bruno Spengler battling for the overall position, and I think Anton Werner might be in a little bit of trouble here as Rene Rook leaves the door open up the inside, and he's going to go off into the gravel. And is that recoverable, though? That's the question. I'm not sure it will be. So Rene Rook then off the circuit in the final sector, as we now do indeed head to the last lap here. So Schulhorn will start the final lap. There's still a battle for the final podium spot in what would be the Class 5s. We've got Rene Rook that's off the circuit here on the exit of the hairpin in the final sector. There's a bit of smoke coming out from the front of that car. Might be more, well no, I was going to say it's more to do with the gravel. It definitely isn't. The car is smoking because it's very warm indeed. And I'm telling you now, if you stand next to one of these cars at the end of a race, it is, yeah, especially if it's the middle of winter, it would maybe keep a family warm for a couple of months. Down then towards the hairpin, we're seeing a battle once again between Torsten Horn and indeed Ras. And there, Torsten Horn, I think, might run wide. Is he going to find, well, he's nearly found the barrier on the exit there. Schulhorn's kind of shoehorning his way involved in this battle. But this is a battle for a top 15 between Torsten Horn and Ras. They are the last two cars out there on circuit. And there's going to be one more lap. I'll tell you what, there is one more lap for that final podium spot for the Class 5s. Commenzin and Zimmermann. Still Commenzin that leads between the two of them. But yeah, there will be one more lap between those two. Merely a few corners to go, though, for Schulhorn. And it's going to be a back-to-back set of victories here this weekend in the DTM Classic Cup. It's been an absolute privilege to have Maro Engel's car from 2008 racing here. It's been a privilege to have Schulhorn showcasing his skill set. And, well, it is looking like double wins for the Mercedes DTM C class from 2008. One more corner to go here then, and it is job done. 2 victories from 2. Takes the checkered flag and will take the trophy. Congratulations to him. 1 minute 27 seconds down the road is Ronnie Shear, so we're not going to see who finishes in second for quite some time. Bruno Spengler will pick up P4, now taking that checkered flag and crossing the line. And then you can see in the background, Anton Werner does get a top 5. But the battle for what would be that final podium position in the Class 5s is really what we're excited about. Although it looks like Commenzin is actually just a little bit up ahead of the road. A little bit ahead here of Ronnie Shear in that Opel Calibra. In the gap, yeah, Commenzin's just gone. So he's quite far up the road, to be fair. So I'm not sure Zimmermann is really going to be able to do too much about it. As you can see then, an absolute send up the inside. As I think Zimmermann might have some issues here. The Calibra is now going to get involved. So Nico Whitman getting past Zimmermann. But the Opel Calibra that has been out testing for the last couple of weeks in Oschersleben has really been able to push this weekend, been able to open up the loud pedal and really push, because we've not seen the Astra really pushed this season. But it's been nice to see it. Been tested and has delivered. It's going to be a P2 overall today. But I think the big win is that every single session that Calibra has taken part in this weekend, they have finished it. Commenzin then will come across the line. They all do indeed take the checkered flag. Congratulations then to Ronnie Shear, who does take P2. And then Ronnie Shear, who normally drives this car, handed the keys over to Stefan Mucker. It's a podium then for the Sierra as well. So Ronnie Shear and Stefan Mucker swapping cars, both still getting podiums. Bruno Spengler 4th, Werner, Fuller, Whitman, Schneider, Reich and Schumann as your top 10. Schneider, Commenzin, Zimmermann, Ras and Horn as your 15 classified drivers. As the flags are being waved here, all the colours of the rainbow. Although there's only 3. And now they've had enough. As soon as they're on camera, they're like, no, I'm not showing my flag waving. Got a competition next week. We don't want anyone else seeing how good we are. Bruno Spengler. Nice little replay here of him and Rene Rook. Rene just ran out of road. Basically, the corner is very cambered and helps you turn the car on entry. But as you get towards the exit and you're on the outside, if you get on the top side, the track just runs away from you. And actually, fair play to Rene Rook. He's managed to stop that from going into a wall. Very unfortunate there for Rene. But again, a very good showing this weekend. Some really good pace. Here is a replay then of our race winner coming across the line. Of Schulhorn. Great performance from Schulhorn. And thoroughly deserves the champagne. Or as Ollie Sittler would say, champagne! No one says champagne better than Ollie Sittler, I can assure you of that. Hands up there for the appreciation towards the fans. Rudy Schulhorn picking up the victory. Double victory this weekend. But I must say, hats off to all of our drivers. Just before the podium ceremony, I will say a massive thank you to all of the teams, to all of the organisers of the event, to all of the drivers, and to all of the production staff behind the scenes who do indeed put on these shows for you. It's been an absolute pleasure to be commentator for this season, but now I'm going to leave you with the scenes of the podium.
Top 3 und das siegreiche Team aus Podium. Wir fangen an beim Drittplatzierten. Aus Berlin, Deutschland, kommt er. Sein Papa heißt Peter und er heißt Stefan Mucker, der Drittplatzierte heute beim DTM CLASSIC Lauf, beim großen DTM-Finale auf dem Hockenheimring. Auf der 2 im Opel aus Deutschland, Ronny Scheer. Herzlichen Glückwunsch! Und dann rufe ich aufs Podium Luki Zechenmeier, stellvertretend für das Team Race Art, für den Sieg heute hier Rennen 2 in Hockenheim. Gratulation! Und der Sieger fährt Mercedes und heißt Rudolf Schellhorn. Herzlichen Glückwunsch! Und damit Damit gibt es zur Ehre des Siegers, zu Ehren von Rudolf Schöllhorn, die deutsche Hymne. Bitte sehr. Natürlich gibt es auch Pokale, in dem Fall aus den Händen von Leon Köhler, ein DTM-Rookie in diesem Jahr am Nürburgring zum ersten Mal im DTM-Renner gesessen. Wir fangen an mit dem Drittplatzierten, der Pokal für Stefan Mucker. Herzlichen Glückwunsch! Natürlich auch für Ronny Schier, den Pokal, in dem Fall erneut aus den Händen von Leon Köhler, Platz 2. Luki Zechenmeier vom Team Race Art nimmt den Pokal von Leon Köhler stellvertretend für sein Team Race Art und den Sieg hier in Hockenheimring entgegen. Und natürlich kriegt auch der Sieger Rudolf Schöllhorn den ganz großen Pott. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, euch 4 Daumen! Fotos hier aus Hockenheim von den etwas schreckhaften und nicht ganz so schreckhaften Protagonisten da oben auf dem Podium. Tolle Bilder und damit erstmal eine verdiente Champagnerdusche. Das war's erstmal mit der DTM CLASSIC und bei uns geht's gleich auf der Strecke weiter mit dem Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Ich melde mich gleich wieder. Bis dann.
So that was the podium ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, here for the DTM Classic. It's been an incredible season. Stefan Mucker, who's been around in many different cars this season, picks up another podium for the collection in the Ford Sierra. And of course, we sign out with some flames. Next up then, Ronny Schier, who normally drives the Sierra that we just saw, actually took Stefan Mucker's Calibra for a drive today. A Sunday stroll, picks up B2. And then new driver to the championship this weekend, Rudolf Schöllhorn, picks up the winner's trophy for the second day in a row. On behalf of everybody who's been a part of the DTM Classic season, I thank you and I bid you farewell.